What's up guys, good and welcome back to my channel. My name is Judith Kanu and this is
Tolu.
Welcome to my channel. So today we'll be discussing how to deal with rejection. So I don't know if you've experienced such before, but if you have, I'm sorry, but we are going to just talk about briefly a few ways that you can deal with it. So please just sit back and I hope you learn from me. So have you ever been rejected before?
Many times.
So can you share maybe one or two experiences?
Should I share the one that made me to cry like a baby or the one that I just moved on from?
Okay. I think you can share both of them.
Let me see. I mean, I think one of the major times I was rejected, one of the ones that really paid me was everyone in my family was traveling. Like all the papers were complete, everything. I didn't buy ticket. That was how sure I was that I was going to travel. And then we went to the visa office. And then they gave everybody visa. And then they did not give me visa.
Wow, okay.
And I almost, because it was how, why, what's happening. But you know, this stuff happens. And I think it's very important to note that one rejection doesn't mean that your life is over.
Yeah.
Many times you get rejected in one place and another door opens up. And if you were not rejected, you probably wouldn't have seen that door, which oftentimes end up seeming being better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to understand that rejection is a normal part of life. The only person that doesn't reject people is God. So we should expect to be rejected.
Yeah.
So that when it comes, we are not broken.
Yeah, aside from like what you said about anybody can be rejected, we should also understand that the fact that you are rejected doesn't mean that you are less of a person, or doesn't mean that you don't want to go, or you don't deserve getting packed or something that you were rejected for. Yeah, so you said you had another story. What's that?
You want me to start crying on yourself? We may not leave yet to do. But let me come back to the points that you made, and I think we probably should talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you already segued into it. About when it comes to like the reasons why people are rejected. Sometimes it's really not your fault.
Yeah.
But let me just say now, many times when you are rejected, it's simply because you just were not good enough.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to get into the university in a country like say Nigeria, you're supposed to have 5 O-level credits and you have 4. You can't exactly be surprised that you were rejected.
Yeah.
You just were not good enough. So I think, because many times we are angry at the person that rejected us.
Mm-hmm.
We are angry at ourselves. We are angry at some demonic power that nobody can fight. But the truth is that we must understand, most times when you are rejected, it's because you simply were not good enough.
Yeah, true. Also, I don't know, can you define, put it into like different sectors or different areas of your life you can be rejected?
It's not one now, just recently.
Yeah.
There was an election in one country, and 51% of the people rejected somebody, and the person scattered the whole country. So in politics, you see these things all the time. Somebody gets rejected, is not voted for, and then there's chaos all over the place. In relationships, we see it all the time. A man tells a lady, "I'm not interested," but the lady tells a man, "Well, I'm not interested."
Or the one they will get actually someone ring in the public address.
Oh, you enter the mall, you kneel down, and the lady says, "What are you doing?" Or the guy says, "You're embarrassing me." There's rejection. Yeah. Of course, visa offices, applications, job. So many jobs is such a major, especially in this age where you struggle to make it through school and everything, and then you prepare for the interview and you do everything you're supposed to do. And sometimes you don't merit it, but some powers get to come into play and then you are not selected. So there's rejection in all areas. Like I said, we should expect it. We're not praying for it, we're not hoping for it, but we should be ready so that when it happens, it's like insurance. You're not planning to damage your car, but you get insurance just in case. Yeah. So have it in mind that it's possible I might get rejected, and already have a plan for when you get rejected.
So I'm going to be reading from my phone just in case. So different, we've already spoken about different sectors or different areas of our life someone can be rejected. So now we'll be discussing, like, sometimes it can be devastating when when someone is rejected. So rejection can be devastating, really, really, really devastating, and it can be hard most times to let people close to you because you feel like you don't trust anybody anymore. Because imagine someone that is heartbroken. Sometimes you'll be like, I'm anti-men, men are scum, all those things. So how do you like, I heard that now. I'm not saying based on what me, I don't have that kind of mindset, but I mean, like, a lot of people have that. So because of that, they try to avoid relationships and all that. So, like, what's your advice to people like that?
Well, I think first of all we must I think we need to start from why people get rejected. Sometimes it's because you are simply not good enough, like I said before. And when that happens, the onus lies on you to become good enough. So if I'm in a relationship with somebody and she wants somebody that has 6 packs, and I have all my 6 packs in 1 pack, and I'm like a pregnant man, I can't become angry because she rejected me. It is my job to become the kind of person that she wants. So if I'm rejected because I wasn't good enough, then
Find out why.
And then work on myself. Sometimes it's because they simply were not feeling you. If I want to marry a short person because I want to be able to carry up and down, and a tall person is angry that I rejected her, you can't be angry, they're just not my type. So sometimes there really is nothing you can do than to carry your load and move on. However, in a case like this, especially when it comes to relationships, when it comes to situations where people get discouraged because they were rejected and they don't want to try again, I would like to say that is never the solution. You can never just sit down and die. Why would you just sit down?
Because if you decide that you don't want to, like, accept a particular like relationship, you decide that, oh, I don't want to go into a relationship. What if they reject you at work? You decide you don't want to work.
You go to work. Okay, imagine that. So we need to understand these things, that you can't just sit down and die. You must move ahead. If one thing does not work, then move on to the next thing. Because you should get lessons from what didn't work and make sure that the next one works. Now, this is not because many times in relationships, because one relationship didn't work out, were rejected, people then lie down on the road and get abused in the next relationship. That's not what we are preaching here.
Like, people actually go through this, like, two extreme ends of each.
Exactly.
So you might go into the one that they are abusing you, like, you just want to stay there, or you go into the one that you decide you don't want to go to, you don't want to do anything.
So because you were not valued in one relationship, you should not now make yourself valueless in the next relationship. No. You pick up pieces and you move on. Because it is very important to understand that when you are rejected, when you have worked on yourself, you must understand that the person that rejected you is the person that lost. If I was not good enough and I have not made myself good enough, then the person that rejected me the first time has lost. But now that I'm good enough, I should not devalue myself for the next person that I'm going to meet. And this holds true even in career. Because you were rejected in one place of work where they were offering you maybe 50,000. Now you can prove yourself to the level of someone that should be earning 100,000. You should not go somewhere and collecting 25,000 because you don't want to be rejected again. So you must balance the two. I will not be rejected. I've worked on myself. However, I will not devalue myself in order to avoid another rejection.
So there's something I saw in the comment section, right? Someone said rejection is always better than fake promises. What's your take on that?
Well, fake promises is always bad. I would never stand for fake promises. And I think it is very true. It's better to be rejected than to be holding on to fake promises. Some of my friends will say that you are sitting on a floating cushion. The floating cushion, a cushion that's just floating, not on the floor. It can drop at any time. That's what a fake promise is. And I also think it's important to realize that many times when you are rejected, that's the push that you need. I was reading something the other day, and I read that the person that invented Netflix invented it because he was angry. See, Netflix, one of these people was angry because he was overcharged for a late fee by a company that was the main rental company before. So it was out of anger from that rejection. That started. So many times, out of rejection, people go on to get motivated
to do better.
So rejections definitely is better to be rejected 100 times than to be depending on one fake promise.
Yeah. So does people's acceptance or rejection change how good or bad you are?
Well, I mean, if I'm rejected, doesn't mean that okay, let me put it like this. If I'm rejected at a certain place, because I did not meet their standards, it does not mean I am not good as a person. It just means I will be better to meet up with those particular standards. Now, if I say meeting up with this standard is too much stress, I can decide to go lower to where my standard is. So it doesn't mean that I'm good enough for a certain level. I think it's important to note also as well that when it comes to discussions about rejections, whenever we are rejected, there's two things. Sometimes you are not good enough, like you said before, you could improve yourself. But sometimes some people just don't like you. You know, sometimes people just don't like you.
Yeah.
You say, oh, you are from a different country, you are from a different race, you are from a different tribe, you are fair. And the person that rejected them in their relationship was fair. So now there's you as a fair person going to apply for a job and they just say, this person too, I don't like her. Or they say, this one is tall. My boyfriend in my last relationship that dealt with me was tall.
You look like my family member.
He looks like my family member I hate. They just reject you.
Yeah.
And that could happen. I think in those cases, what you do is make yourself indispensable. You know, there's a way you'll be so good.
That you can't be rejected.
Even though they don't like you,
they'll still accept you. Like,
they'll just take you.
Like, we need this person. Do you get? And this reminded me of something also I was watching. Someone said you have to know the difference between being narcissistic and having high self-esteem. You know, when you're narcissistic, you expect everybody to like you. You expect to be liked. Do you get? So you have this. I don't know what I would say is pride that anybody that sees me is supposed to like me, but no, everybody cannot like you. Do you get? So like we have to differentiate from having like a high self-esteem,
which is very important.
Yes.
So you can be so good that you cannot be rejected. I think that really should be the aim.
Yeah, I think basically working on yourself, self-improvement for your own.
Yeah, for your own self.
Yeah.
Not to convince them.
Yeah, that you are good enough.
And you know, this is actually very common in relationships. When there's a rejection, someone say, oh, you rejected me because you want light skin girl. I'm going to go and make myself light skin. And then they become like you artificially.
There's something about self-rejection, and this is long, but I'm going to read it out. It says, over the years, I've come to realize that the greatest trap in life is not success, popularity, or power, but self-rejection. When we have come to believe in the voices that call us worthless, unlovable, then success, popularity, and power are easily perceived as attractive solution. So this one, when we decide that when we make ourselves look like we are worthless, or we think we think that we are worthless, and we now try to use popularity and money to fill up the gap, then success, popularity, and power are easily perceived as attractive solution. The real trap, however, is self-rejection. As soon as someone accuses me of or criticizes me, as soon as I'm rejected, left alone or abandoned, I find myself thinking, well, that proves once again that I'm nobody. My dark side says I'm no good. I deserve to be pushed aside, forgotten, rejected, and abandoned. Self-rejection is the greatest enemy of spiritual life because it contradicts the sacred voice that calls us the beloved. Being the beloved constitutes the core truth of our existence. Before we start, I wanted to say something. So, like, there was time I had this presentation, right? So I finished with this presentation and I didn't get the result. I didn't get the reply I wanted. Like, you know, when you do something, someone's supposed to be like, "Oh, you did well." Blah, blah, blah. At least comment. You know, the person not even say. Like the fact that I was expecting the person to say something, but the person did not say anything at all.
That's almost worse than people say.
So like I have to sit back. I was like, and that I wasn't even feeling good already. So I was not thinking to myself, I'm sure that like it was that bad. I had to. The next day I was like, I told myself I wouldn't go because I felt like the person had already confirmed the fact that in my head I was already telling myself I was not good enough. Do you get? So like I was like, that's a confirmation. So I think that's what this is trying to say. What do you have to say about self-rejection?
Well, I think like this writer says, self-rejection is what I call like an insidious and vicious cycle. So I already think I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Then I'm rejected, which further reinforces my belief that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Now, because I have my not good enough mentality has been reinforced, I don't even now go out for the things that I am actually good enough at. You understand? So it's like it's negative reinforcement, and so it continues to sink deeper and deeper into that hole until you can't even see the light again.
Yeah. So anybody that comes to you tells you you're not good enough, you're like, yeah, this person is actually
It's confirming what I already think.
Yeah. So
When normally you should be like, what do you mean? I am good. And you see, like this person said, not to sound spiritual, but the truth is that any voice externally that tells you that you are not good enough, you can fight it with your internal voice.
yeah.
But when your internal voice is one thing, is you are not good enough. Like the Bible says that if the light in somebody is darkness, the Bible says that the eye is the light of the body.
Yeah.
And if your light is darkness, how serious is that darkness? So if your internal voice that should bounce away all the external rejection is telling you that is rejecting you, that you're not good enough.
So like any other person can say anything and you just accept it.
But when you are telling yourself
that I'm good enough,
that's a terrible situation to be. And honestly, that is where we really need to start from in any discussion about rejection. It's very important that we deal with the demon of self-rejection.
Yeah.
You cannot reject yourself. If nobody fights for you, at least you should fight for yourself.
Most times the rejection from outside is usually like born out of the ones that we have inside. Because if you have this self-confidence in yourself that yes, I'm good enough, you'll be able to like fight the external voices and you'll be able to like
very correct. It comes to you, there's a level you will get, and I think everybody comes to that level at a time in their life when no wife can help you, no best friend can help you. You must encourage yourself. So if what the thing in you that's supposed to encourage you is rejecting you, so you must not give in. And it happens every time. Sometimes you do all your possible best and it still doesn't work out. And you need to ask yourself, is it possible that I'm really not worth it? You can ask yourself, but the point is you cannot give in to that voice.
Alright guys, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining me, Tolu. Although you I don't say anything, but thank you so much for joining me, and it was really an interesting one. I learned a lot, so I'm sure everybody's going to learn something from this. And if there's any way you have been rejected, you can also leave it in the comment section and we'll learn. You can also tell us your experience and how you dealt with it. So that'll be it. So thank you so much. Stay.